Hello, everyone. Today we have Sitati Wasilwa, a geopolitical analyst based out of Nairobi, Kenya. We're going to be talking about the latest developments in Mali, which has been at the center stage of news in recent days, with major militant attacks on government facilities, resulting in the death as well of the defense minister and his family and other individuals, with some cities, coming under control of militants, which has not been seen in for a while. Sitati, please tell us what's going on in Mali, why these developments all of a sudden. Um, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Mikhail, for this opportunity, and I really hope to, put across information that is quite useful as far as understanding the events unfolding in Mali. So, to begin with, these are not really strange happenings. If you look at the trends over the last 5 or so years, particularly in recent months, there have been intensifying attacks by, the JNIM insurgent group, which is affiliated with Al Qaeda, and towards the northern part of the country by the Azawad Liberation Front, otherwise abbreviated as FLF, which is a rebel group made up of majority, ethnic Tuareg people. So to me, it's more of dissatisfaction with the inability by the Malian military regime, led by the interim president Assimi Goita, to resolve the security crisis and facilitate a return to civilian leadership, which has been elusive over the last 5 years. So besides that, there are other economic factors. I mean, frustrations with the government's inability, to facilitate the creation of meaningful employment opportunities, and also, the utilization of the revenues that the government receives from major economic activities, including, mining, especially gold mining,
Okay.
among other social factors, which also embroiled in all these conflicts that we are witnessing in Mali.
Okay. And so the security situation, these two groups basically, the JNIM, which are Al Qaeda affiliated, they've normally had an objective to control all of Mali, while the Tuareg, the Azawad Liberation Front, has normally, conformed to territories where they may normally live. Have these really been coordinated attacks? Are they ad hoc? Do you see them lasting a long time? On the long term, like coordinating like that together?
Mikhail, first, I have to say that is a very interesting question, which I believe most commentaries are really missing out on it. For starters, it appears as if on the surface, it looks as if it is an ad hoc, coordination between these two groups. But if you dig deeper, then the nuances are a little bit more intriguing.
Hmm.
A few years ago, maybe 2 to 3 years ago, the Ukrainian government alleged support, or rather claimed support, for JNIM and the FLA in those parts of Mali, in the northern part of Mali. And at that time, I mean, the FLA even and the JNIM group, even with the recent attacks, one of their claims is that they want the Russian mercenaries under the Africa Corps group to withdraw from the country as well. And indeed, they have withdrawn from several, military installations in various parts of the country. But you get a feel that Ukraine also took advantage of it. I mean, there were claims 2, 3 years ago that Ukraine attempted, or rather supplied, these two groups with, drones to carry out attacks. Because I mean, JNIM and the FLA, when you look at, armed conflicts across Africa, they're among the first groups to deploy the use of, drones in warfare.
Okay.
So it looks like it is an opportunistic arrangement. But I mean, to me, I consider that this partnership could be one that, may last for a long time. It could still remain a little bit, opportunistic or arises on a need or case basis. But I see it lasting for a long time, especially if the current military regime remains in place, or the current, interim leader of the military regime is replaced by another military leader. So those are the sorts of dynamics that are in play. But again, just to go back, JNIM, when the Tuareg rebellion, by the FLA, sometimes the names keep on changing over time. But this particular group made up of the Tuaregs, when you look back in 2012, we had a coup, a military coup took place in Mali, simply because the soldiers, a certain group of soldiers were dissatisfied by the then civilian government due to the fact that it was unable to deal with, insecurity. And at that time, what happened basically, some of the Tuareg fighters that had been recruited to fight under Gaddafi, when Gaddafi was overthrown, the state of Libya fell apart, they dispersed to many other parts of, the neighboring countries where they came from, including in northern Mali. So you had guys with guns, with experience, and then they are hungry with no money. So that really galvanized and intensified support for the Tuareg rebellion. And then now from the Tuareg rebellion, when you look at the data, with the Tuareg rebellion, that's when even, these insurgencies and the so-called terrorist groups and formations in the name of JNIM, that is also around at the same time when this particular group also came into creation. So those are the sorts of dynamics which characterize these two groups, Mikhail.
Yeah. So the Malian military right now, what do we know about them? Is it's still facing serious problems? Have their capacities, capabilities been boosted by, for example, the EU mission? France was there as well, although it wasn't necessarily collaborating always with the Malian military. Now we have the Russian African Corps there as well as instructors, or also participating in clashes there, aiding the Malian government. So the capabilities of Mali's military, have they increased? Any weapons acquisitions? Have they expanded the ability to control land? How are they looking right now, Mali's military?
Yeah, look, Mikhail, in fact, the major reason why we are talking right now definitely indicates that with the recent developments in Mali, then the capabilities of the Malian forces are in serious doubt. They're extremely limited at this point. And of course, when you look at the happenings over the last few years, especially maybe 3 or so, when the French left Mali, also don't forget we had the UN, United Nations peacekeepers in Mali. When they departed, and when the Malian government increased its military and defense, security cooperation with Russia, in as much as it was able to acquire maybe, some equipment here and there, but nothing really significant has improved over the last, few years in relation to the capabilities of the Malian forces. So it is still a military that struggles with the basics of warfare. If it were capable enough, then we wouldn't really be talking about this issue at this particular point. And collectively, when you look even at the regional institutions which have been mandated to, to oversee some of the security issues from a collective standpoint, it still raises lots of questions about the effectiveness of the regional blocs. Remember that Mali, alongside other military-led states of Burkina Faso and Niger, which are neighbors, they collectively left, they withdrew from the economic community of West African states in favor of the alliance of Sahel states. but the Alliance of Sahel States has proven completely ineffective in containing, rampant insecurity in that part of Africa. So the Malian military capabilities still in doubt and still weak at this time. And in fact, just to throw in another hook into my response to your question, look, the Malian military regime, there are conversations are currently ongoing. Talks between Mali and the United States, the Trump administration, to find a way in which these two countries can increase their cooperation. Mali, for once, it's championing to have support or to get rather support for, security-wise from the United States. But the United States is obviously seeking to enhance its footprint in terms of getting some of these critical minerals. Mikhail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how has, for example, how have natural resources of Mali played into this? Are they of any effect here? Do they have any influence on the militant groups or the current military government's ability to, control areas or have an income? Because Mali has lots of gold. It exports lots of gold and other resources. I think the main one is gold there. So do natural resources play a role in these developments?
Mali, just like many other African states, is grappling with the issue of the natural resource curse. There's an overall feeling in Mali that despite the fact that the country is endowed with huge deposits of gold and a few other minerals, a few people only benefit from that, especially those ones with the reins of power. So based on that, other groups, and even when you look at the motivations behind some of these rebellions or armed conflicts in general, there's an overall feeling that they are being left out. They are being secluded. The communities are being secluded from benefiting revenues and other advantages that come with resource exploration. So that, in a very big way, is generating frustration because the Malians are generally asking, including the leaderships of these armed groups, that where is the money going? Where's the money going? If lots of money is being generated, we are not feeling it. Why?
Yeah. It's I asked because I know, for example, in northern Somalia, there's a minimal presence of Al-Shabaab there as well. They're mainly in the south and some of the central areas, but northern area near Mihlo, just between Somaliland and Puntland, there are huge gold deposits there, or maybe not huge, but significant gold deposits there. There's a lot of artisanal gold mining there there's not much infrastructure and everything. There have been reports of, Al-Shabaab militants using that, taxing locals and making money off gold right there and trafficking it as well. So I'm not sure, is that kind of the case? Do you see something like that in Mali where gold deposits are used by this or that non-state organization, non-state group, besides, the few people that actually control it, or do they tend to be in the hands of, the few that control it?
Absolutely. It's the same case or almost similar case with Mali, especially with the artisanal mines. JNIM in particular, even the FLA, they tend to impose some sort of taxation, which really aids the survival of these groups. And this is a peculiarity that is not really a reserve for armed groups in Mali or even just Somalia. It's a characteristic that is, similar across the board in many parts of Africa where there are armed conflicts. Remember, if you look at the conflict in Sudan, a similar thing is happening. When you look at Ethiopia, the many conflicts in Ethiopia, similar stuff can be observed there. And don't forget even the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's been in conflicts year in year for many decades. Similar, kind of observations can be made there as well, and a few other parts across Africa, including even in Niger and Burkina Faso, which neighbor Mali, and not forgetting in Nigeria, in the Niger Delta, where you have these oil militant groups attempting to impose, some taxation
Hmm.
on areas where minerals or gas and oil are drilled. So it's more or less the same case.
Similar, yeah, yeah. It seems like the kind of patterns that go around. It seems logical as well because they have to make, they need income from somewhere, particularly in Mali, where there may not be another anything else they can make money off of or get any income. So, I mean, mined resources are something they can definitely leverage. As for the neighboring countries of Mali, Algeria, for example, Burkina Faso, or any other neighboring countries, how are their relations? I mean, besides Burkina Faso and Niger, which seem to kind of be in the same movement right now, basically the same, similar military governments there. But in Algeria, for example, does it have any particular relations with Mali or Mauritania? How are the neighboring countries reacted, or how have they reacted in the past to, instability in Mali?
Well, I mean, in terms of diplomatic relations, in the case of Algeria and Mali, sometimes you have these blow-ups, diplomatic blow-ups. We are not happy about this. One time, you see, you have Algeria. Not so long ago, expressing maybe dissatisfaction with the way Mali, the state of Mali handled, I mean, some of these agreements, peace agreements meant to restore stability in the country. I mean, and Algeria was a big, mediator as far as some of those rebellions in Mali are concerned. So it's a functional stakeholder, but then again, uh, we've had over time, including this year and the better part of last year,
Hmm.
some shows between Algeria and Mali. Mali claiming that Algeria intends to support some of those rebellion groups, especially those ones which arise from the Tuareg ethnic community. And at the same time, I mean, you have Mali. I mean, you have Algeria blaming Mali, noting that the state of Mali is not really committed towards implementing some of those, peace arrangements or frameworks which were mutually agreed on with
Hmm.
the groups. But I mean, so it's more of it's more of a pragmatic sort of a relationship, but one that is on and off, dictated by the kind of conflicts that take place in Mali. But in the case of Mauritania, sometimes, I mean, you can't really say there's a diplomatic, total breakdown in relations between Mali and Mauritania. It's almost similar to that of Algeria and Mali. Sometime you're on the same page, next time you're on a different page.
Uh-huh.
But overall, in terms of, I mean, from the security perspective, I mean, Mauritania is one country which definitely has to be, admired in the manner in which it was able to shield itself, protect itself from, these insurgencies that are taking place across the region, especially over the last, 13 or so years.
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, so I really feel that even the Malian government or the regime over there perhaps has a few lessons to pick from how Mauritania was able to, contain that sort of, I mean, create that sort of buffer against the insurgencies. But again, I mean, most of these things are not really automatic, given that a country's history and, I mean, the historical, economic, social dynamics, I mean, play a huge role at the end of the day as far as state functioning is concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right about Mauritania because Mauritania has not really seen any serious insurgencies, right, in recent years. And it seems like either they may not, the government has some time, maybe the policies of the government or for historical reasons, it doesn't have those types of frictions within its society. But any words on Mauritania? What's particular about Mauritania? How's Mauritania shielded itself from these types of movements? Are they just absent basically in Mauritania? Because they do have an issue as well, right? They do have ethnically diverse society as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think as I mentioned just, I mean, the last time I spoke, what I alluded to is, most of these countries have dynamism in terms of their histories tied to, multiple economic
Hmm.
issues, social factors or sociocultural issues, and political factors as well. So I guess when you look at Mali, I mean, its experience, I mean, it's had its fair share of rebellions, particularly in the north. I mean, the rebellion by the so-called Azawad Liberation Front, tied to the Tuareg rebellion or uprisings for many years, is not really something new. I mean, it's definitely evolved over time, but this is an insurgency which uh, began in the 1960s. I mean, it's been
Ah,
there 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the 2000s. So those sorts of dynamics, and I think over time, the successive states or rather governments in Mali have not really demonstrated some level of high competence to, go back, go down to the basics and address the teething problems. So to me, it boils down to the competence of, the successive governments in Mali
mhm.
failing to, address the root causes of all these issues. And that points to the fact that, you see, if the government of the day wants to eliminate most of these issues, then it would. But in that case, it doesn't really happen in Mali. So that only tells you that this is an issue which we are going to grapple with for a very long period of time to come.
Yeah. And as we're kind of running out of time here, foreign intervention or foreign influence. I mean, we talked about the Ukraine, reports of Ukraine possibly arming the non-state actors there, maybe in a way to get back at Russia, to kind of have Russia dedicate more efforts to its Africa and to its African presence and kind of in a bid to kind of weaken its position in Ukraine, which I haven't seen yet. But I mean, Ukraine's reports of the Ukraine there as well. I remember those. France, does France have a role in this? Does any other country have a role in a reported role in aiding? Basically, my question is foreign intervention, foreign influence. What foreign influence is there on these two non-state actors in Mali that, could be a major, an important factor here, if there is any?
Well, I mean, you see, when talking about foreign influence in the context of Mali, I believe it's very, very important, I mean, to to go over a few facts. Um, and of course, the propaganda that spreads around all over the internet and whatnot. You see, the military regime of Mali, just like that one in Burkina Faso and Niger, anytime we've had coup attempts, anytime we've had these attacks by these armed groups, they usually rush, to blame the likes of France. Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, the French left or exited these three countries, including Mali. The situation has in fact worsened. Yeah.
2022 it
So
was, I believe, right?
yeah.
The
So
French
in
exit.
absolutely in my view, I don't really feel or think, and there's no evidence whatsoever to link perhaps the going ons in Mali or in these other Sahelian countries to, France.
Mhm.
Obviously, France will be blamed because it has some sort of, wretched or wicked history in that part of the world.
Old colonial
Uh,
power, it's easy, right? It's an
yeah,
easy target there to say, look, the old colonial power is doing this, and yeah.
exactly. So there's always the tendency by governments, incompetent governments to, keep on backpassing and creating excuses anytime a crisis
Hmm.
or an unpleasant event arises. So I don't see how France is involved in this.
Hmm.
But obviously, we've seen Russian influence growing in this central Sahelian states over the last 5 or so years. But the most intriguing thing is that, in as much as these states have been leaning towards Russia, there's very little improvement. I mean, in terms of their warfare capabilities, the abilities of the security forces of these countries to defend civilians and
Hmm.
to restore peace and order and stability across the board. But I mean, at the onset of it, as I mentioned, JNIM and FLA, there was some, reliable evidence a few years ago linking them to acquiring drones, perhaps from, with Ukraine support. And at this time, I think we can only wait to watch and see what unfolds more
Yeah.
from the situation over there. But definitely, I mean, foreign influence cannot really be ruled out at this point. I mean, otherwise, how would armed groups acquire drones if there is no one supplying them with those kinds of, equipment?
Yeah, that's always a possibility. So, I mean, it's always good to, that's why we always need to investigate, look deep into these people like us, huh? OSINT analysts and geopolitical analysts. Well, yeah, we've basically run out of time. Sitati Wasilwa, a geopolitical analyst, experienced geopolitical analyst based out of Kenya. We really appreciate you. I appreciate you joining us, sharing your experience. We hope to see you again, and we're going to keep following up with developments. Thanks again, Sitati.
Thank you.